just trying to block me. Everything was going against the sanction bodies, going against everything that people sit and tolerate. I wasn't tolerating it, so it's kind of like the black sheep, like, he's the bad one, get him out of here, we don't need him.
Yeah. I think this is disgusting. I think this is musty at the highest level. Oh, Shakur Stevenson has been stripped.
Terence Crawford has finally spoken out, and he is not holding anything back. The boxing icon went on Instagram and shared a statement that shook the entire boxing world and directly challenged the World Boxing Council. His tone was sharp, controlled, and filled with clear sarcasm as he posted, "Ain't no way y'all are still this mad, it's cool bro, the ring belt was free." This message was not posted for attention or to stay in the spotlight. Crawford is not a retired fighter looking for relevance. This was him stepping straight into a fight that has been building for months.
Makes you so motherfucking better than any of the other sanctioned bodies, huh? Answer that question. What makes you better than the WBO, the IBF, or the WBA? Everybody accepted what I was giving them. But you, the WBC, think that you better than everybody, don't you?
He is standing up for his protege Shakur Stevenson while taking on one of the strongest organizations in boxing. The tension between fighters and sanctioning bodies has been growing for many years. But what is happening now is bigger than the usual talk about politics or corruption. This feels personal. It is about payback, unfair treatment, and a conflict that could damage the sport from the inside. What the WBC did to Shakur Stevenson is the same move they pulled on Crawford only months before. Fans and insiders are now starting to see the pattern. Everyone is asking the same question. Is this really about rules and order? Or is the WBC going after fighters who dared to challenge them? To understand why Crawford is this angry, we have to go back to January 31st, 2026, when Shakur Stevenson walked into Madison Square Garden with everything on the line. The 28-year-old fighter from Newark, New Jersey stepped into the ring to face Teofimo Lopez, a man known for his power, speed, and loud confidence that often crossed into arrogance. Lopez entered the bout as the WBO junior welterweight champion, and most experts believed he had the advantage before the fight even started. Stevenson was respected for his sharp skills, but many questioned if he had enough knockout power to compete with the best fighters at 140 pounds. Those questions disappeared just minutes after the first bell rang. Shakur delivered a flawless performance and controlled almost every round with pure boxing basics done at the highest level. His jab constantly snapped Lopez's head back, and his movement kept him out of danger all night. His ring awareness was clear as he stayed one step ahead and broke down one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. When the final bell sounded, there was no confusion and no argument about the result. Shakur Stevenson had secured both the ring title and the WBO junior welterweight belt in one of the strongest showings of his career. Even bigger, he became a four-time world champion at only 28 years old, joining a rare class that includes Oscar de la Hoya and Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford himself. The importance of this moment cannot be overstated. Winning championships across 4 weight divisions is a true sign of greatness and proves skill, discipline, and the ability to grow as the body changes.
It was an amazing night. I put the work in. I stayed disciplined throughout my camp. I was in tremendous shape, and T.O., he's a hell of a fighter, but I was the better man tonight.
In the moments after the win, Terence Crawford was right inside the ring celebrating with Shakur as the crowd exploded with noise. The boxing world was alive with excitement. Shakur Stevenson had officially reached the top of the sport, and his future looked wide open. That feeling did not last long. Just days later, everything changed. On February 4th, 2026, the World Boxing Council made an announcement that shocked fans, analysts, and Shakur himself. In a public statement, the WBC declared that Shakur Stevenson was stripped of his WBC lightweight title effective immediately. The timing could not have been worse. Shakur had just earned the biggest victory of his career. Before he even had time to enjoy it, the organization took one of his belts away.
That's right, Shakur Stevenson has been stripped of his WBC 135-pound belt, fresh off his absolute destruction and masterclass in ending Teofimo Lopez's career last Saturday night in Madison Square Garden with a beautiful display of boxing.
The explanation they offered sounded simple at first. Under WBC rules, a fighter is not allowed to hold titles from different sanctioning bodies in separate weight classes, especially in divisions where they do not own a WBC belt. Since Shakur had just become the WBO junior welterweight champion, the WBC claimed he could no longer keep the lightweight title. On paper that may seem reasonable, but the issue goes deeper. Fighters in this situation are usually given time to decide their next move. When a boxer moves up in weight and wins a new belt, sanctioning bodies normally allow a grace period to choose which division they plan to stay in. Fans and experts expected Shakur to be given weeks or even months to make that choice. Instead, the WBC acted immediately and stripped him only days after his win, as if they were waiting for the right moment to do it.
The WBC has stripped him now of his 135-pound title because he won the WBO title at 140. Shakur Stevenson made it abundantly clear that he's a 135-pounder. He's going up in weight just for situational fights.
The Newark fighter barely had time to enjoy his moment before everything was taken away from him. Shakur Stevenson is not someone who stays quiet when he feels disrespected, and his reaction online was explosive. He went to X, also known as Twitter, and posted several messages directly attacking the WBC. His main point was clear and serious. The WBC wanted him to pay $100,000 in sanctioning fees for a fight where their belt was not even involved. Take a moment to think about that. Shakur fought Teofimo Lopez for the ring title and the WBO title. The WBC lightweight belt was not on the line at all. Lopez was not a WBC champion. The organization had no role in the fight, yet Shakur says they still demanded a six-figure payment simply because he held their belt while moving up to chase another one. In one of his strongest posts, Shakur said $100K to some crooks who do not deserve it. "Na Leilani, I would rather give it to you, baby girl," making it clear he would rather give that money to his daughter. He did not stop there. In his next post, he went even further, saying the WBC had nothing to do with this fight, and it was eating them alive. That line shows what Shakur truly believes. To him, this was never about rules. He believes the WBC was angry they were not part of one of the biggest fights of the year and decided to punish him for it. Then he added another key detail that made his case even stronger. He said he had already paid the WBC after his last fight and had met all his obligations. That led to a fair question. "Why am I paying y'all $100K right now?" Then came the statement that changed everything. He said this was because they had issues with Bud, so they came after him instead. With that message, Shakur tied his situation to a larger pattern that had already affected one of the greatest champions in boxing. His final message was clear and fearless. "Take your belt. It does not make me." Meaning he does not need the WBC to prove he is a champion.
In a rush to do nothing. Can't give this dude a week to make a decision on what he wants to do next.
To see why Shakur accused the WBC of holding a grudge against Bud, we have to go back a few months to one of the most talked about moments in recent boxing. In September 2025, Terence Crawford achieved what many thought was impossible. He moved up to super middleweight and defeated the pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez, becoming the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. This was a historic moment that confirmed Crawford as one of the greatest fighters ever. He had conquered another weight class, beaten the sport's biggest star, and shown once again that his skill was on another level. The boxing world was still in awe when December 25th arrived and the WBC dropped a shocking announcement. They were stripping Crawford of his WBC super middleweight belt. The reason given was clear. Crawford allegedly owed the organization $300,000 in sanctioning fees and had refused to pay
him $300,000 plus another $100K something for sanction fees, right? Then he gonna tell me I ain't even apologize. Like, who the fuck you think I am? Boy, you better slap your fucking self and paying your ass shit. Fuck you talking about pay you $300,000.
Already paid the WBC after his last fight and had met all his obligations. That led to a fair question. Why am I paying y'all $100K right now? Then came the statement that changed everything. He said this was because they had issues with Bud, so they came after him instead. With that message, Shakur tied his situation to a larger pattern that had already affected one of the greatest champions in boxing. His final message was clear and fearless. Take your belt. It does not make me. Meaning he does not need the WBC to prove he is a champion. Interview 8. To see why Shakur accused the WBC of holding a grudge against Bud, we have to go back a few months to one of the most talked about moments in recent boxing. In September 2025, Terence Crawford achieved what many thought was impossible. He moved up to super middleweight and defeated the pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez, becoming the undisputed champion at 168 pounds. This was a historic moment that confirmed Crawford as one of the greatest fighters ever. He had conquered another weight class, beaten the sport's biggest star, and shown once again that his skill was on another level. The boxing world was still in awe when December 25th arrived and the WBC dropped a shocking announcement. They were stripping Crawford of his WBC super middleweight belt. The reason given was clear. Crawford allegedly owed the organization $300,000 in sanctioning fees and had refused to pay. Interview 9. Crawford responded with a video that went viral within hours, and his message was as direct as it could be. "Boy, you better slap yourself, I ain't paying your asses," he said straight to the camera, showing all his frustration and anger. "You talking about pay me $300,000. His words were raw and unfiltered, turning what could have been a business dispute into a full-blown conflict. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman tried to explain the organization's side in several interviews, breaking down the fees.
He did not comply with the rules. Then he moves up to super middle and makes the fight of the century, beats Canelo, makes $50 million or around that. The WBC absolutely is not going to charge 3% of such an amount. We made a very clear 0.6%, which is $300,000.
According to Sulaiman, Crawford had made around $50 million for the Canelo fight, and the normal WBC sanctioning fee would have been 3% of that. But Sulaiman said the WBC had been generous and lowered it to just 0.6%, which came to $300,000. He added that $225,000 of that would go straight to the Boxers Fund, a charity started by his late father Jose Sulaiman to help fighters in need. On the surface it sounds fair, but Crawford did not accept it. His response revealed a big flaw in the WBC's reasoning.
With $225,000 going to the Jose Sulaiman Boxers Fund, which is to help former fighters in need. And it is just regrettable. Not even a thank you or I'm sorry, taking a different route. No response. I wish him the best.
Every other major sanctioning body, the WBO, the IBF, and the WBA, had accepted the payments Crawford offered them. They had no issue with the amount he paid. So why was the WBC the only one asking for more? Why did they feel entitled to a higher fee than all the others? Crawford's question went unanswered. His response became one of the most dramatic exits in boxing in years. Instead of continuing to fight with the WBC, he announced his retirement. He left the sport as an unbeaten 5-weight world champion, and the first fighter in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 3 different divisions.
If you've been taking your body through hell for 30 years, would you retire? All right then. So there go your answer. So that's why I retired. I gave my all to boxing, but I'm not going to give my health to boxing. If I was to come back, who would I fight? I'm asking you.
To say it's a good question.
All right, so there you go. There you go. I have nobody to fight. I have nothing to accomplish. So now I'm just coming back for the sport and just money.
It was a legacy that seemed untouchable. Yet the WBC had gone after it anyway. Social media lit up as fans and analysts started seeing the connection between what happened to Crawford and what was now happening to Shakur Stevenson. The pattern was clear. Both men were close friends and training partners. Both had their WBC titles stripped within months of each other. Both cases involved disputes over sanctioning fees. Both had openly criticized the WBC and its practices. The idea spread quickly. Was the WBC targeting fighters who spoke out? Was this punishment disguised as rule enforcement? Shakur's claim that the WBC held a grudge against Bud and was now going after him suddenly made sense. The timing was perfect, and the situations almost identical. If you believe in coincidences, this was a huge one. But if you think powerful organizations sometimes use their power to punish challengers, then what was happening to Shakur looked like payback. The boxing world was split, but one thing was clear. The WBC's credibility had taken a serious hit.
You put Lamont Roach at number 2. Shakur says, okay, I'm willing to fight Lamont Roach. And you strip him? This is why these sanctioned bodies are a joke. Look how long Gervonta Tank Davis held the WBA title. It's a joke.
Fans began asking whether the WBC cared about boxing or just about protecting their money and reputation. Terence Crawford had been watching everything from the sidelines. Retired but still deeply invested in the sport and in his protégé's career, he stayed quiet for weeks, letting Shakur handle his own fight. But there comes a moment when staying silent feels like being part of the problem. Crawford reached that moment when he saw the WBC doing to Shakur exactly what they had done to him. He could no longer stay quiet. His Instagram post was perfectly timed to send a strong message without over-explaining. He spoke directly to the WBC with words full of mockery and defiance. WBC, ain't no way y'all are still this mad. It's cool, bro. The ring belt was free. The last line was a clear dig at the organization's obsession with sanctioning fees.
Since you, the WBC, and you got the fucking green belt, which don't mean fucking shit. Fucking real belt is the ring belt, which is free, motherfucker. Who you talking about? You want me to pay you more than the other sanctioned bodies because you feel like you better than them. How in the world all the sanctioned bodies agree to the same amount, but you sit your motherfucking ass up there and say that I need to apologize to you?
The Ring Magazine Championship, one of boxing's most respected titles, doesn't charge fighters a single dollar. You earn it based on skill, not by paying fees to a governing body. Crawford's point was clear. You can keep your expensive belts. The ones that truly matter don't cost anything. But his message wasn't just for the WBC, it was also for Shakur. By speaking out, Crawford was showing support, telling his protégé, I see what they're doing to you and I've got your back. He didn't stop at one post either. Crawford retweeted all of Shakur's messages, amplifying his voice and making sure the whole boxing world saw what was happening. The message was obvious. The WBC was still upset about Crawford refusing to pay, and now anyone connected to him was facing the consequences. The most telling part of all this? WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman, who had defended the organization so loudly during the Crawford issue, stayed completely silent against both fighters. No statement, no explanation, nothing. While the showdown between Crawford, Stevenson, and the WBC played out, a much bigger threat was emerging. Sulaiman was now facing a fight on several fronts, including one with the most powerful promoter in combat sports, Dana White. The UFC president had launched Zuffa Boxing, a new promotional company with a bold and controversial promise: no sanctioning fees.
Is there going to be a Zuffa belt where, like, the winner of the Zuffa belt has a springboard into like Riyadh season and a championship fight, a Ring Magazine fight?
You and I have never talked about this, but the answer is yes. That's
right, of
exactly
course.
What will happen.
Of course, yeah. Right.
There will be a Zuffa belt, and then there will be a ring belt. And yes, I will not recognize any of the other sanctioning bodies.
White made it clear in several interviews that if Zuffa Boxing ran the sport, he would get rid of the sanctioning bodies completely. His point was simple and hard to argue. These organizations don't add anything to boxing, they just take money from the fighters. White's direct criticism of the WBC and other sanctioning bodies struck a chord with many fans who were fed up with seeing fighters lose part of their purses to groups that seemed more focused on collecting fees than protecting the athletes. Sulaiman appeared on the Ariel Helwani show to defend the WBC and respond to White, but his argument came across as defensive and out of touch.